You've stopped multitasking long enough to land on Swipes After, a hot potato of the latest episode of Mom Swipes Left, a podcast with two middle-aged women whose New Year's resolution is to be kinder to themselves and take some time off. This is episode 71, about MSL episode 210 or 211. I don't really understand why there's a choice. I'm your host, Pomme de Terre. Enjoy. Jen and or Carol were away this week, so Cardiff Electric, the hardest working man in podcasting as far as I can tell, filled in. As usual, did a bang up job. I have a little bit of a grievance with him, I guess, that I don't get a week off. Maybe I do next week. I couldn't really tell. For all I know, he's just going to show up. He's everywhere, as far as I can tell. For instance, Cardiff's grievance was with Doug from Who's Right, another podcast, another of the 98% of podcasts that I've never heard of. So I looked up Who's Right, and what did I find? But Cardiff doing a recap show called Who's Left. For a little while, I was convinced that Who's Right doesn't even exist and that Cardiff only invented it to give himself an excuse to make a recap show called Who's Left, much like I did with Mom Swipes Left, because I had nothing better to do. So, MSL, for everyone listening, and if you're an MSL listener, it is all a, what is it called, mass hallucination. That's not the right term, but something like that. Created by me. Cardiff also went through Parade.com's 55 New Year's resolutions for 2023, which I agree was pretty crappy. I have that issue with New Year's resolutions in general. These especially, just to emphasize what I hate about resolutions. It says, don't be a waste of space next year. Now you're just a piece of shit. So whatever you do next year, just make sure it's different from this year. Carter pointed out, interestingly, that the list felt like it came from 1987 because it was basically about being low tech. And I realized, yeah, that's about right, because 1987 was probably the last time I read a Parade magazine, or anybody did. And with that, I will just say Happy New Year to everyone who is or isn't out there listening. I hope your new year is completely different from this one and that you're not a piece of shit. Bye bye.